For context, we've been doing marketing analytics consulting for over 5 years, and typically in most engagements, we're cleaning up lead source as part of the overall project that we're working on. So one thing that we've learned about lead sources is that it's great because it's simple, and the idea is that you have to pick one value, which is nice for comparing things. But in practice, there's commonly a mix of concepts that end up kind of getting in there in the lead source. So I wanted to kind of break this down and show some of the challenges that we've seen as a company has been working with us. So this is a pretty typical set of lead source values, even with companies that are really kind of trying hard to execute it. So you've got things like a CPC, pay-per-click CPC, which is a medium. So it's a traffic driving technique. Some people call it a channel to drive a lead, right? And you've got Google, which is a source. And so Google is actually a subset of a medium. So it could be a lot of different things nowadays. So you think Google could be CPC, it could be paid display, it could be organic search, a variety of different things, but it's something very specific. You've got document, which is really a content category, which would be similar to, say, like events. So documents or events, which ones are driving, pipeline. White paper is a content type. So other content types would be reports, ebooks, webinars, events, those kind of things. Top 10 reasons is a really specific thing. So a specific piece of content or webinar offering or ebook or a name of a new report. Ranking is actually a list source, not a lead source. So it's a database provider. You get some names. So it's really a name, not a lead, but it ends up kind of a lot of times getting in the lead source. Advertising is a medium category, so it can be a lot of different things. It's one of the default values, but it's digital advertising or it's offline, it's magazine advertising. It can be a variety of different things. So the challenge with lead source is if it's not consistent, it can be relatively useless in terms of making comparisons or doing marketing analytics. The other side of it is just the first touch. It's not all the touches along the way. So that's another kind of challenge. Now, one of the common hacks that we see is a custom field called lead source detail, where people try to pack in a lot of information into the lead source detail because instead of just being limited to the one. The problem is in practice it seems to break down because it's human powered, the marketing ops team is really busy, and it's also sort of inherently sort of limited in the idea anyway. So we've kind of found that lead source detail is not necessarily the silver bullet for this some of the challenges here. So if you look at one thing you can do to improve your lead source, right, is pick a consistent naming convention or naming approach, right? So with lead source, what we tend to recommend is one of two options. One is to use content type, so that'd be like white papers, reports, webinars, those kind of things, and stick with that. And then if they're consistent, then it becomes more useful for comparison. The other is to use medium. So medium would be things like CPC, display, email, content syndication. So, the choices would be the content type of what the person engaged with or the medium of how you drove them to the lead. So picking one or the other can really improve your lead source values, and we'd highly recommend doing that. So if you do a good job with that, it doesn't necessarily solve the questions that come right after that. That's one of the challenges. So let's say you get it all cleaned up and quickly the question comes up, which white paper? Or was it CPC or organic? Google or LinkedIn? And these are not advanced questions. I mean, we see these as like the 101 of marketing analytics, but the current way to get to the data can be tricky, and when you have a very sort of a limited approach on doing that. So what we're introducing is a new way to do lead source and what we call lead source X. So lead source X is lead source on steroids. And the idea is that you have a really rich picture. So for every touch, not just the first touch, but first, second, third, all the way through, 5 to 15 touches, however that may be, you've got a very granular picture. So if you kind of peel this back and you say, what are the details that we have? You've got, the medium of CPC, the category of paid media, the source of Google, UTM level details, click IDs, CRM metadata, the content type, the content category, the name of the content, and the landing page, whether it's A, B, or C. So there's a lot of information that's packed into every single touch. And the other fun part about it is the marketing operations team does not have to set it up. So this very dense, detailed lead source information happens on every touch, and there's no one-time setup. So it's automatically generated. The data structure is generated by our application. And so there's, one, you had the granularity. Two, you didn't have to set it up. And so that's the big idea. So now when you combine multi-dimensional data structure with things like multi-touch attribution, it can get really interesting. So let's say we've got a deal in our pipeline with Pied Piper, a $50,000 deal. They're just down the road here in Palo Alto. It's got 9 marketing touches on it. So imagine on every single one of these touches having a very granular picture from a lot of different dimensions on what happened on those touches. And what it allows us to do is to roll up this data in very powerful analytics. And it gives you lots of different ways to slice and dice the information and to get a very rich picture, a wide view, sort of a wide angle view of marketing's impact on pipeline. So that's our quick overview. So let me know if you have any questions. Be happy to give you a demo, answer any questions you may have. And also, if you have ideas around this concept of lead source, some of the challenges you guys are having, please let me know. My name is Jeff King, and email is jeff@rampmetrics.com. Have a good day.